Watching the elite fight out the cyclists on incredibly challenging hills is one of the favorite parts of bicycle racing. In this video, we take a look at 10 of the most challenging hills used in cycling competitions only on Cycling Right Now. If you think that we've missed out on any, do tell us in the comment section to let us know, and without any further ado, let's get started. Number 1. Mont Ventoux. We're gonna begin with the easiest one, which is the Giant of Provence. This mountain is steeped in cycling legend and completely dominates a rather flat area, making it a beacon for all cycling sadists. The hint is very much in the mountain's moniker, which is cycling sadist moniker. Ventoux is one of the most otherworldly climbs that you could ever aspire to complete, since it has harsh lower slopes and a spectacular moonscape top. If you can tackle Ventoux, you will have accomplished one of the most wonderful things in life. You will not only need to fight the steep slopes, but you'll also need to carefully pace your ascent to escape the intense heat and gusts that may reach speeds of up to 200 miles per hour. It is in the Provence region of France at 21.3 kilometers. The average gradient is 7.1%, the maximum gradient is 12.7%, elevation gain is 1,519 meters. Number 2. Monte Zoncolan. The Monte Zoncolan is a highlight of the Giro d'Italia every time it's utilized because of its difficult topography, which includes steep inclines, meandering roads and a multitude of tunnels. This demanding terrain has made the Monte Zoncolan a symbol of cycling in Europe. After making its first appearance at the Giro in 2003, the ascent has since solidified its position as one of the most famous in the race's illustrious history. If you look at Annemiek van Vleuten and Chris Froome, who were the most recent riders to climb the large Zoncolan while riding at the Giro Rosa and Giro d'Italia respectively, you may get an idea of the sort of legs you'll need to go to the peak of the enormous Zoncolan. The Dolomites are found in Italy at this location. The length is 7.8 kilometers, average gradient is 13%, maximum gradient is 19.8%, elevation gain is 1,049 meters. Number 3. Alto de l'Angliru. It's not out of question that Spain contains the largest proportion of difficult ascents when compared to the rest of Europe. Although they may not be as beautiful as other mountain ranges in Europe, such as the Pyrenees or the Alps, the mountains in the northwest of Spain are frequently considered to be among the most difficult in all of Europe. This is even though they are among the most beautiful mountain ranges in all of Europe. The Angliru is not an exception, and because it contains sections that are as steep as 21%, it regularly plays as the deciding factor in the general classification when the Vuelta a España is being raced. Asturias, in the Spanish region of Asturias. Length is 13.2 kilometers, average gradient is 9.4%, maximum gradient is 21.5%, elevation gain is 1,448 meters. Number 4. Passo del Mortirolo. Because it is usually used as the halfway point of crucial Euro-Alpine stages, the Passo del Mortirolo has become one of the most well-known non-summit finishes in the world. This is because it's frequently used as the midway point of these stages. Participants in the Gran Fondo Stelvio have the option to challenge the famed ascent, which boasts slopes of up to 30% at certain spots. Even the great cyclist Lance Armstrong, who had quite a bit of help, acknowledged that it was the most challenging ride he had ever ridden and described it as a beautiful, hazardous but ultimately rewarding. The Italian Alps are the location. Length is 11.3 kilometers, average gradient is 10.9%, maximum gradient is 23.6%, elevation gain is 1,235 meters. Number 5. Hard Knot Pass. Climbing the Hard Knot Pass in Cumbria is something that can be done at any time of the year and does not need too much travel time. The worst part of it is that just at the bottom of the hill there is a cattle grid that utterly nullifies whatever speed and momentum you might have had. After that, you will be thrust into the middle of it with a series of acute hairpin corners that are comparable to what you may see on a Dolomite. The ascent is perilous, but the reward is some of the most spectacular views in all of Cumbria. In addition, there is a chance that the climber may experience all of the many types of weather that the region is famed for. Cumbria in the United Kingdom, length 2.6 kilometers, gradient 11.5%, maximum gradient 20.5%, elevation gain 301 meters. Number 6. Passo dello Stelvio. The Stelvio Pass is considered to be one of the best passes in the world by Pedal Shore. It's easy to understand why we consider it to be one of our all-time favorite climbs anywhere in the world, because the route is so straightforward. It's perhaps most known for its 48 hairpin twists, and it is another ascent that is deeply ingrained in the history of the Giro. when planning your itinerary for the Giro, you should keep in mind the possibility that snowstorms and floods might render the route inaccessible, even if it's already being used for the race. The Italian Alps other location. Length 24.1 kilometers, average gradient 7.6%, maximum gradient 11.7%, elevation gain 1,829 meters. Number 7. Moniker. Moniker, which has a total height of 4,018 meters, is often considered to be the world's longest road climb, as the ascent of the Hawaiian monster begins at sea level and continues without let-up until you reach the Martian-like peak of the volcano. You will need to spend pretty much the entire day in the saddle if you want to take on this challenge, because the percentages reach their highest point at the summit, which is 23.3%. Moniker saves the most difficult climbing until the very end of the day. In addition to all of these factors, as well as the intense heat and the periodic shifts in the surrounding environment, Moniker is as unpleasant as it is stunning. Place of residence, Hawaii, 67.7 kilometers in length, average gradient 5.9%, maximum gradient 23.3%, elevation gain 4,018 meters. Number 8. Alto de Letras. The length of the Alto de Letras is comparable to that of Moniker, which is another massive mountain. As you make your way up this ascent, you will come to an understanding of why riders like Nairo Quintana and Egan Bernal appear to have such little problem climbing the highest passes in professional cycling as you go closer to reaching the summit. Because the height of the mountain is a big factor, you will need to take into consideration altitude in addition to shifting slopes, the weather, and the continuous rising that is involved in this circumstance. Just one more thing to bear in mind, if you don't mind us saying so. Location, Colombia. Length 54 kilometers, average gradient 3.8%, maximum gradient 53.7%, elevation gain 3,198 meters. Number 9. Muro di Sormano. Let us be the ones to tell you that the name Muro di Sormano literally translates to Wall of Sormano, and that translation is not too far from reality. Riders claim that the only way to go up the slope was with the assistance of a push from a fan, and as a result the climb was withdrawn from the Giro di Lombardia in 1963, 3 years after it had been included for the first time in 1960. It was included in the race again in 2012, and because of advancements in gearing, racers do not need the assistance of spectators any longer. However, you shouldn't let it lull you into a false feeling of security, because the wall is still pretty much impossible to go around. Number 10. Alto de los Machucos. You may remember Los Machucos as the grueling final climb of stage 13 of the Vuelta a España from last year. It was on this hill that Slovenian Tadej Pogačar won his second of 3 stages. Because the slopes are so steep, concrete slabs have been constructed to help riders and vehicles get grip on the terrain. The last few kilometers are welcome relief since they head in the opposite direction from whence you came, which is a fitting reward for having vanquished the Cantabrian monster. Cantabria is located in Spain at this time, length 9.4 kilometers, average gradient 7.4%, maximum gradient 23.1%, elevation gain 732 meters. That's all for now, but don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like this video. If you enjoyed it, we'll be back soon with more incredible content.